So, Akhil, we are talking about, the future beginning here, what India's decade is going to look like. None of it is possible without telecom operators, right? And given that now it's only a two-player market, must be putting a lot of pressure on you.
No, I first of all disagree with that. It's not a two-player market. I am quite certain Voda Idea would be there. BSNL is going to come in some form in a new avatar. So there's not going to be a two-player market, but yes, uh, quite clearly behind the entire digital revolution, it is connectivity, and therefore the telecom networks are clearly very important.
But tell me, about 15 years back, when I think we last interacted or we last physically met in Russell Khema when it was still a desert, right? You were the CFO of Bharti, I remember. From then to now, there were about what? More than a dozen telecom players. They're pretty much only one can count on one hand fingertips, right? What is it that you're doing right at Bharti? There must be something in your DNA for you to be able to last as one of the top three telecom providers in the country and still be growing.
Well, I would say fundamentally we are a conservative company. And I guess if I was to give a very straight, crisp answer of what we did right, I think we kept our balance sheet very strong. So that's what we have been doing in this entire period when there were a lot of turmoil, many near-death experiences. And we always believed, and I always believe, that in difficult times, if you are a strong player, you become stronger. If you are weak, you perish. So we tried to keep our balance sheet very strong. And the result is that today, we have a very strong balance sheet. We did not hesitate in raising a lot of equity. And that's, I think, the reason why we have emerged very strong.
But is that the key to survival for the large telecom players such as you? You've got to have deep pockets, you've got to have enough funds to play with?
Well, that's where the balance sheet comes in. And as far as technology is concerned, everybody has it. Besides, of course, we have such a wonderful operational team on the ground. They have kept through all the difficulties. But yeah, ultimately they also need resources. So if you can keep on providing resources, then you can remain on top.
Okay. Tell me, Akhil, what will the Bharti of the next 10 years look like? Will it be the same company doing the same businesses that it has? Or will it be a large conglomerate with many different businesses underneath?
I think
because we're now talking digital, right? Telecom is a medium to digital. Would Bharti want to be an enterprise or a utilities company in that sense?
First of all, I think we will be in the digital space primarily in providing networks. Now, as you know, we are already now in satellite communication. We have OneWeb with the full constellation covering every square inch of the globe. We are, of course, in Africa, we are in India. So our primary thing is about communication, digital network, digital connectivity. Now, on top of that, what all we might do, it's an evolving industry. I won't put any boundaries and not want to really say that we will do this, we will do that. We will fundamentally partner with everybody. You've seen Sandhya gave a very good account of what Meta is doing. There are thousands of other players, big and small. Our aim is to partner with everybody and provide them the connectivity, the digital platform where they can build their products. That's what we would really like to do.
But such partnerships also come with a cost, right, Akhil? Is Bharti willing to spend that much? And if you have to spend that much, you've got to raise capital. Is there a capital commitment vision that you have in mind?
As I said, we have a strong balance sheet. We are in free cash flow, so I don't need to raise more capital. But yes, we have to spend a hell of a lot. And that is where I think the big debate today is that the OTTs, and that's of course a very divergent opinion across the board, we believe that we are all in it together and they must share a fair share of the burden of all these networks which have been created in some form or the other. But yeah, you're right. This does need a lot of capital, continuous deployment of capital, and that's what we have been doing.
Tell me, how's the evolution to 5G been? Because already in a very short span of time, we're in about, what, 400 cities?
Or it increases every day.
Yeah,
so
it increases pretty much every day, even I've lost track. How's the transition been? Because it's been one of the quickest from 4G to 5G.
Still a bit of early days because the coverage is not ubiquitous. I think in the next 6 months we will see a whole lot of difference and people will really start feeling the power of 5G. But it's been good. I think the handsets have been coming, the percentage is increasing of the 5G handsets in the smartphone shipments. So I guess 5G is there now and it will only go from strength to strength.
Sure. Are you already committing investments to 6G? Because that's what the Prime Minister is talking about next.
Telecom is an evolving movie,
Yeah.
right? We had 4G. As 4G started coming to an end, we had 5G. So the investment span shifts from 4G to 5G. At some point, it will shift from 5G to 6G. So we are not too worried about this aspect. But this is just an evolution. We'll go along with the evolution.
At what point do you think 2G and 3G will cease to exist? And
3G.
it'll only be 4, 5, 6.
3G is already gone, but 2G is still there in India because I think there is still a whole lot of customers who are not able to afford a smartphone. But matter of time, it will go.
And what happens when pretty much all of India and all Indians have a smartphone with 5G? Do we have the bandwidth and the capability to handle that kind of volume?
Yeah, that's exactly what we are doing. And when I say we, I'm not talking of Airtel, I'm talking of the telecom industry. We are collectively investing about 3 lakh crores. That's about $35 billion. In that, it includes spectrum, the equipment, the towers which are being created, the fiber networks which are being set up. And what that is doing, like in our case, our total capacity in the very first phase will go up from about 45 terabits per second to over 85 terabits per second. So this is about capacity creation because I believe telecom is a supply-led demand. The more you supply, the more demand will come up.
Yeah, absolutely. And, looking at the Gen Zs and millennials, one must say that they have some copious appetite to consume data. But tell me, what are the hindrances? What are the roadblocks? Because, like you're saying, it all sounds very good on paper that the transition is going to be very smooth. But besides funds, what are the roadblocks for this transition from 5G to 6G?
Look, the big hindrance in telecom development in India today is the very poor return on capital which this industry has. And at some point of time that will have to change because otherwise the investments will dry up at some point or the other. So return on capital is a big hindrance today. And that's the reason why you are seeing a very big and a very respected player being in a bit of a, not a bit of a, but a serious trouble today. This industry's financial health has got to improve if we need to fulfill the dream of bringing digital connectivity across this country.
So what's stopping you? Why don't you bite the bullet first and increase the tariffs?
Competition. I think I'm not worried about tariffs. What we need to see is increase in ARPUs. The overall revenue has to go up. The per GB price can come down. That's not a problem. But the overall revenue will have to really go up. ARPUs need to go up to 300 rupees in a phased manner over the next few years.
Well, what is the solution, considering you've got a very large dominant player such as you, and then there is one more, and then a weak number 3 and 4, right? Who bites the bullet first? I think it only boils down to that. What is the solution of return on capital generation? Someone's got to do it.
I guess we'll all need to work together. I don't want to put blame on anybody, not on the government, because they are not saying no. I guess it will happen, but I think it should happen sooner than later.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, we've got the cheapest telecom rates pretty much in the world.
Absolutely.
Right?
Without a doubt.
So you're saying that we should be ready to pay more for data and telecom services
I think
in days to come?
Consumers are ready, but somehow as an industry we have not been able to come to an understanding of increasing the ARPUs so that this industry can be healthy.
But what will happen? I mean, what will give up first? Either you lose subscribers or then you go in for a very, very gradual and slow increase in tariffs.
Look, in India it will
And
have
I'm
to
sure
be
you
gradual.
walked this tightrope many a time.
It will have to be gradual, but it has to be steady. And we do from almost 200 need to reach 300 over a period of time.
You know, by the end of the next financial year, I believe that 5G is expected to be present on a pan-India basis.
Yeah.
In the very near term, what is it that you at Bharti are doing for this smooth transition?
Setting up networks, blowing up money, putting loads and loads of capital behind this. That's one thing which we are doing.
Right. You also talked about, towers. Is that a business which is viable, and is that a business which is also a sort of deep fund sucking business, if I can call it
Yeah,
that?
it needs a lot of capital. It's a good, very good business model, but I think we need at least 3 to 4 players for that business to be really viable.
Right. Let's talk about Bharti Enterprises then. We've talked about what the vision is going to be at Bharti. You've talked about funds. You've talked about the hindrances. But in the next 5 years, how is it that Bharti becomes one of the sole providers to India's next decade?
What provider?
One of the sole providers, one of the major providers for India to be able to reach its digital dream.
We are already. I don't need to wait for 10 years for that. We are a major provider for everything which is happening in the digital world. It is riding on our networks. Without the networks, none of this is possible. So we are already a very major player in this whole digital ecosystem.
Mr. Gupta, apart from being a telecom provider and a key one at that, there's also Airtel Payments Bank. And that business of yours is profitable. What's the vision to take that forward? Because that is also a space where there is immense competition.
Well, Bharti and Airtel have always been about inclusive growth. If you looked at our journey in telecom, we started from Delhi and we are now in 17 countries, including India. But everywhere it's about inclusive growth. We believe Airtel Payment Bank is another big opportunity to take banking to the unbanked, and that's what we are doing. So that's the aim, and we also believe it's a profitable journey. It's a journey full of potential, so we look forward to developing that bank.
Now give me a headline, tell me how much of money are you deploying from the rights issue, or are you going for another round of fundraising anytime soon or not?
There's nothing on the horizon.
Nothing
right
on the
now.
horizon.
Don't need to raise more money right now.
Adequate cash in the books?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. We look forward to the digital future that Bharti has in store. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking time.